All right. Okay, I've started the recording. Um, all right. And Julie, do you need some more help with the process? I mean, are you new to the process, or what sort of support can we give you?
Oh, I'm here mostly to listen and learn more.
Okay.
I know that, I've done
Okay.
a lot of reading about empathy and
Okay.
mindfulness and such. So, I just want to see what is happening in XR regarding that.
Sure. Okay. So what we'll do here is it's a very simple process, and it's basically listening to somebody, listening for the content, the feelings, and the values without judgment. And so what we'll do is we'll kind of model it for you. Both James and Sally, have done this before, and then and then we'll come to you. So there's a certain pattern. The speaker speaks to a designated listener, and then the designated listener or the active listener reflects back, and then after the speaker is done, then the active listener becomes the next speaker, chooses someone else, and we kind of go round robin. So that's probably too much information, and but I think you'll get the hang of it. It's pretty easy when we do it.
I think I have done it years ago.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, it's I made it more complicated than it needs to be. All right. Nina, are you there? You kind of went in and out. Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Nina, are you familiar with the empathy circle process?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. So what we'll do, if you don't mind, then, James and Sally and I, we'll kind of model it for you. And then if we need to stop, then we can do that if you have, some questions. We go in 5-minute turns. And so we'll start that. And then at the end of 5 minutes, if Julie, you, or Nina need some clarification or something like that, we can kind of stop. Also, Nina, it's okay with you that we're recording. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, James or Sally, would you like to start speaking? No? Okay. All right.
No, I will start. I was
okay,
just
great.
checking to giving Sally a moment, but
Sure. Who do you want to speak to?
So I'll speak to you, Bill.
All right, I'm listening.
I find the whole starting structure for our calls so frustrating. I've been sitting on the call for 23 minutes just listening to explanation, and I would love a more direct entrance into the work we do. I'm also guessing that my voice is a kind of voice for the group, and I say group, but actually I mean community. I know that there's some frustration about some of the structure. Now, I find it very difficult right in this moment to move forward with this line of thinking because let me just change my view. Because I want to include newcomers. It's really important to me to find a way to include newcomers. And I think that some of the explanation, some of the introductions are actually I just want to ask briefly, Nina, would you mute yourself? Because you're mute. I think it's you. If you're moving around a bunch.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. I wanna create a place that's welcoming, and I guess I think that jumping into things, making it more experiential rather than didactic and with explanation would, I think, be more, would draw people in and get people moving more quickly. So, and it's a, there's something about like how it affects me. Like when I show up, I might be calm, but then I'm kind of like, I feel almost like provoked for 20 minutes. And then, oh, so how you doing? And it's like, that's how I'm doing. 20 minutes of like, so.
All right, let me,
Yes.
that's quite a lot to digest. Okay. So you're really expressing your frustration at the, at the lengthy explanations. And you have some, conflicting feelings about it because you want to be welcoming to new people. And that's very important to you as well. But, in your personal experience, the explanations have just gone on too long. And when you start off calm, you can be agitated by the length of it. So you're kind of looking for a better solution. Is that right?
Yes, thank you, Bill. And
Sure.
I feel fully heard.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Sally, would you listen to me? Thank you, Sally. You're muted, Sally. Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. Great. Okay. So I guess I'll respond a bit to James, and it's almost like I'm responding more to the context, and I'm just feeling okay. Somebody needs to mute themselves or something.
Sorry.
That's okay. Thanks, Nina. No problem. So that James can vent like that safely and express his frustrations. I'm a teacher or a retired teacher, so bringing people on to me is very important, and I think that's a big part of what we do. And I understand that. I've been into too many one-on-one situations in my life where I have to hear this again. I've been frustrated just like James. So there, I hear the need for maybe a more advanced class or something like that, or something, I don't know exactly what it is. Anyway, I'll stop there. Sally?
Okay. So you are responding to James,
Mm-hmm.
and in the context of James, that he can vent successfully his frustration
Mm-hmm.
of this process,
Mm-hmm.
that you have new people coming in and you want to make introductions and get them used to the system and learning, and you as a teacher, you want to be that, you want to bring people in, but you've heard this over and over from the more seasoned empathy people, and this, you've heard this before about the frustration and need for possibly an advanced group or not, but
yeah, I'm on. I'm not particularly. I don't mind the introductions because I feel that I'm reaching out to people, and I feel that part of what I like about this process is that there's something else going on rather than what we're talking about. We're making a connection on an emotional level. So I think that being welcoming and I think James values that as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing James's ideas. I know he has some alternatives, and that's the sort of empathic society I'd like to see, which is one where there's creative variety, and yet there's a common connection or community. I'll stop there.
Okay. Hang on. So you don't mind the introductions? Something else maybe going on? You really want people. Oh, am I there?
Yeah, you're there. I can hear you.
Okay. You want people being comfortable. I think when you said that, you meant newbies as well as more advanced with each other, because you're meeting each other. And so you're looking for an empathic society here in this effort of common connection of unity.
Right.
And you know that James has come up with some ideas that would be good to listen to.
Thank you, Sally. I feel fully heard.
Okay. Now, do we switch, or are we?
Now you speak, and generally
Okay.
the first round, we try to get everybody involved, and then then you can speak to whoever want, but it's good to kind of mix it up, speak to different people. So first round, we get everybody involved, and once everybody speaks, that's a guideline, shall we say. You can always talk about whatever's on your mind, or pick whoever you want to pick.
Okay. How about James comes to mind?
Okay.
Sure.
First of all, I was incredibly tense. We did have a little empathy with each other, and anyway, what I want to say is that it's a very useful method I found to calm me and other people down. And the methods, maybe they need a little tweaking. Maybe we do need some new ideas. So I'll go from there.
Yeah, Sally, I heard that you were feeling a little tense. You and I had a chance to exchange some empathy, and you're thinking about what ways, what new ideas might enhance what we do.
Yeah, well, the other thing is with the empathy, experience, just listening to you, I learned quite a bit, and not necessarily at the time, but when I read it over. So so the teachers have a lot to share, and so with this idea of advanced groups, it's kind of a trade-off of time and energy. So that's kind of where I leave that.
So you had taken some notes when we had talked, and then you looked them over later, and you learned something from them, and you are reflecting on what we can learn from teachers' offerings about this work. And I might have missed something.
That well, it might be. I don't know. I know there's a lot of dedicated people out there. I'm not sure there's the time and energy and devotion, but since I haven't been, you know, involved, I'm not really sure about that. It's a lot of time, and so I'd like to see everyone do it all day long. I'd like to see the world do it, but you know, I honestly think that's something you know, that, well, you need some kind of a plan to have schools and, you know, involvement all the way around.
Yeah, so you're really longing for more people to get involved and do it around the world, in schools, institutions. You want people to get involved, but you're not sure how many people really have the commitment or are interested or can find the time necessary to do this work.
And I also think that, let's just say with schools, the idea of like, you know, doing a pilot and working it into curriculum, and then with corporations, you know, they always have those trainings that you go to when you work for a company or a agency, and you can work it in. And I don't know if that's already being done, but it's something that I don't really know if you guys have kind of a master plan on a world scale, or even, you know, in San Francisco or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, so you're wondering what the plan is to get into more mainstream institutions, and you think, like, for, you know, companies, whatever they do, workshops and things, that may be a route to go. And so you're just thinking about what we could do or what people are wanting to do, what the plan is.
I feel heard, fully
All right.
heard.
I'm going to pass my turn to you, Nina.
Yeah, hey. I have to say at the beginning, my English is not so good. I understand nearly everything. But yeah, talking is a little bit hard for me sometimes.
Would you choose one person that you're talking to?
Okay. I choose you, James.
Sure. Yeah. So I heard you say that your English is not so good. You're not sure if you heard everything said, and talking is a little difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm rather not sure whether I can express everything that I want to say. Don't know. Maybe you need a little bit patience. Yeah. Yes, I know the topic, and it's something I reflect on since several weeks. I don't know really how to do it in an important moment. I forgot to write something down. It was last week when someone told me something about a person, Thomas, and so on. I don't know his last name. He does events to connect thousands of people at the same time, but not on the internet, but in real life, I think. can't remember really well. Maybe someone of you has heard of him. Yeah. I don't know how to manage this. The first part is the people don't have the awareness that it's important to express their feelings, to speak to others, to be heard. And the other thing is how to get it done, how to connect them, or how to get the process of learning done, because it's I think it's important for everyone, but at the same time it's hard to do, because there can be so such a little thought can make a difference, and can lead to that it will not succeed, that a conversation is going bad or something, and it's a how to say, Verantwortung, responsibility for the teacher also, and for everyone to participate, and maybe I'm thinking too much, I'm feeling not enough, I don't know. Stop this at this moment.
Sure. Yeah, I heard you say that you're thinking about the theme of the call and how we could help people to get involved. There was somebody you heard named Thomas who you heard is very successful, bringing thousands of people together in person, wondering if there's any connection to knowledge about that here. And that also, you said, I think just have some anxiety right now being here, wondering if you're going to be understood, or if you're going to be able to speak clearly, find the words, and even maybe just get through some of your own thinking, which feels a little bit blocked.
Mm-hmm. I think I feel really heard, and no, yeah, it's okay.
Okay, you feel, because you have some more time if you'd like it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, the moment
Okay.
not. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm going to pass again to Julie. Julie, if you're there, if you'd like to choose someone to speak to.
You're muted, Julie.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. We hear you now. Who would you like to speak to?
I don't know. Nina?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't feel frustrated right now, but I do feel like nothing has been said. And because there's no question, there's no topic, just a bunch of generalities so far. And I hear you, Nina. I hope you don't apologize so much about your accent. You speak very clearly and you articulate what you're saying. So you should not worry about that. But I understand your hesitation. I have found during the years I've been here in the States, especially in the Midwest, when people hear my accent, they stop paying attention because, they're just not used to the accent. But that's a problem of the listener. It's not your problem, and it's not my problem. People need to get used to different accents. And I would think this is not such a problem in Europe, but where I am, it is a big problem. People just don't listen because they just don't read you as being in their team or something, which is very unfortunate. Of course, tell you a side story, which is for over a decade, when people stop listening to me, I try to speak slowly, which made things worse because it made it sound like I didn't understand and I didn't think very fast. So, you know, it's like that was shooting on my foot. But, you know, that's what it is. I'm glad that this Extinction Rebellion movement exists and is working to make people from different countries talk to each other and also bypass whatever filters we have as countries to talk directly and to humanize each other. So, you know, as I said, there are things that have frustrated me in the past. Maybe I'm a little frustrated now, but I think it's not really frustration. It's just a discomfort of not knowing you guys. You know, first time we talk, so I'm like, I can't be totally sure of anything. And I don't think it's my place to feel like I need to control the situation either. But empathy, that's what it is. Listening and good for it. So that's my generality of the day.
Wow, thank you. I've heard that you are searching for a parallel thing because I feel you heard that I feel uncertain about pronouncing well or something, and you told me that I'm doing actually well. Thank you. And I heard that you don't feel that we've said very many things in this moment. It was just an overall talking about not in depth. So and I heard that you have made the experience for 10 years now, or maybe longer, that people actually don't listen to you because of your accent or what they interpretate. And so you have adapted or tried to adapt and talked slower, in a slower way, or more explanative way. But you made me experience that it was not the right thing to do, because the people then thought that maybe you're not intelligent enough or something like this. And and now at the moment you're feeling not very comfortable. You are. I've heard that you like the way how XR deals with bringing everyone together, or focusing more on the human side and not on where you come from and everything. And I think this was it.
Yep, thank you. I feel heard. Hooray.
Okay, Nina, you can talk to someone else. You can pass, whatever you'd like to do.
I think I need a pause at the moment.
Okay.
Would you just choose who you pass to?
I pass to Sally.
You're muted, Sally. Ah, there you go.
Okay, I'm gonna share.
Okay, who do you want to talk to?
I see. Well, about Carolina.
Carolina's not in this room.
I thought. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have. There's me, James, Nina, and Julie.
Oh, I see.
And Nina seems to want to rest, and Julie, I see. Yeah. But,
okay, either you or James. So about you, Bill.
Okay, sure, I'd be happy
Okay.
to.
Yes, I feel like this is a very successful process, but well, I feel a lot of frustration about the government and the coronavirus, and you know, maybe I'm drawing a lot of wrong conclusions, but I feel like, you know, in the next, what is it, before November 7th, we gotta make a lot of steps forward as a nation and as a world. And I really love the idea of being there, I guess, at Lake Merritt, and with the empathy. And honestly, I would like to see a something in Washington, D.C., where everyone comes towards the end of, you know, before the election, where everyone could gather and do something like that. So
Okay,
kind of what I think.
so I'll reflect that if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so you like this process. You're feeling very frustrated by the politics and the situation with the coronavirus, and this, you know, and you feel that there are a lot of steps. We have to make a lot of steps before November 7th, Election Day, in order to really communicate with people. And you're very excited about the sort of the empathic direct action. You'd love to have been at Lake Merritt, and you'd like to see it in Washington, where, you know, a lot of people come, and it would be more effective. Is that correct?
Yeah, and you know, I've read a lot of, well, I've got several of Martin Luther King's books that
Mm-hmm.
I've read and studied, and there was his I forgot what it was called, but when,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the big gathering, was that at the White House or Washington, D.C., the Capitol, where everyone gathered, you know, for a peaceful type of a gathering, to us, which then resulted in the Civil Rights Act,
Mm-hmm.
without anyone getting killed. You know, I mean, a peaceful demonstration, and so that's kind of like something that popped into my head 2 days ago, with, you know, peace.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
So, out of your feeling of frustration and wanting to really come up with a creative solution, you were inspired by Dr. King's example, his March on Washington, that was peaceful and, you know, brought around about civil rights reform in this country.
And I don't know, somehow on Facebook I came upon something written by FDR, which was kind of basic tenets for each person, which was one step bigger than the civil rights. I mean, that was pivotal and extremely important, but it was, you know, the basic right for medical care, and having a job. Everyone has the right to a job. Everyone has a right to, I thought it was like education or free education. there were I think 4 or 5 things that he had done that just kind of slipped through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. So you were also then talking about FDR, and I think it was, I saw it, so it was another 5 Bill of Rights, which you talked about is your right to medical care. A lot of things we're talking about today, but with FDR saw back in the 1940s.
right. Thank you.
Okay.
I
Great.
feel heard.
Thank you. All right. Julie, would you listen to me?
Yes.
Thank you, Julie. Well, first of all, I have to say that when I was 7 years old, my father was doing some research in Uruguay. And I remember walking out of my house, and kids came out of their backyards to welcome me. And I'm so sad that that isn't the experience here, because it was so powerful. I was, a lonely kid and in a new place, and I just walked down the street, and other kids just came out of their backyards and introduced themselves and became good friends. So when people of other cultures, first of all, I think both you and Nina speak, fine. And so I'm always been touched by people who are willing to overcome their misgivings to reach out to others. I'll stop there.
So you just told us that when you were a kid, you were in Uruguay with your family, with your father doing some work, and you have this memory of kids coming out of their houses and their yards, introduce themselves and welcome you, which is something you had not experienced before. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then that is something that you think about when you consider how important it is to connect with people from other cultures.
Thank you. And I'll address your issue about we're not like on task here. What are we doing and why are we doing it? This is my personal, as a special education teacher, I dealt with very difficult families and kids for about 40 years. And so the first thing that we needed to do was to establish trust with both the child and the family. I'll stop there.
So you said something very complex, but what I got at the end is that you have faced difficult situations in family with for the past 40 years.
Right, and my job is a special education teacher.
Oh.
So, and so we had so in order to help these families and kids, we had to establish trust.
Yes. Right. So, yeah, that's a very insightful,
right.
Which is, yeah.
So as I look at society, then I see that there's a lack of trust. And so that foundation of trust needs to be established before we can go forward on common ground. I'll stop there.
So your foundation, you have a strong drive to tell others that that trust needs to be established before anything can be done.
Right.
For like to move forward. So you don't see this as just like a peripheral thing, but you see it as the most important thing that you can do in connecting with others and getting to work with other people.
Right. Yeah.
So you see that as a very strong foundation of any work done with other people.
Right. And that's what I see that the work that we're doing here is doing. And in empathic direct action, I think it supports XRs in several ways. Because I believe, successful nonviolent movements are successful because the general public identifies with them. And so therefore, building trust and community and listening is an essential first step towards really building a mass movement. I'll stop there.
So in this last number of sentences, you are establishing your position. You're saying, I think.
Right.
Which is that you are not telling us what is important for everybody. You are starting from yourself to garner this trust as a very important first step. You know, you are situating yourself right here, right now, saying, this is what I think. This has been my experience and why I think the way I think. And
right.
Yeah.
Sure. So what was I going to say? Oh, and so I'll respond to Sally and then I'll be done. Is that, yes, I have a plan for listening circles in schools. There is a plan. My personal plan is, and listening circles and integrating it in various places. And also making the point that this is a tool and it can be modified and has been modified by other professionals who are doing something. So I'll stop there.
So this is a tool that you have used in your work in schools, and you're telling us that it can be modified. It's not a fixed tool. It's adaptable. But it is an important start for a change that you feel very strongly about.
Thank you. I feel fully heard, Julie.
Thank you.
And Julie, who would you like to speak to?
James?
Go ahead.
I don't know what to say. I can speak about anything, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So the dropping out of Elizabeth Warren was as shocking to me as when Trump was elected. And, I still feel very shaken by it. And I'm still thinking about it. And what you just said, Bill, when you said, I think, that over the past week, I had to unfriend 3 men from my Facebook feed. One of them a relative and 2 friends. Pause. Let me see what you listen.
Yes, you're feeling really disappointed that Elizabeth Warren dropped out of the presidential race, and you unfriended 3 male friends or relatives on Facebook because of discussions related to that.
Yes, and it had to do with how what I said, even though I use the words I think, in my opinion, and so forth, these 3 people feel threatened by my opinion, that they would tell me what I should say and what I should think. And these are people who never use in my opinion, I think, as I see, so they were not just lecturing me, but they were telling me what the world thinks. which I find very problematic in any kind of conversation. And I saw no reason to be connected to people that think less of me or women in general. That's it.
Yeah, so when you spoke about your opinions, you were making it clear that it was about your perspective, and these individuals didn't do that. They were speaking to you in a way that was maybe absolute and was pushing you to think in a certain way. And so you didn't like that. You don't want to have people in your life who are forcing these opinions on you and other people, or who just have opinions, who have a view that women are lesser, who don't respect women.
Well, it's not so much that I didn't see. I tried to talk to these people, to these three people, and by no means I was barraging or screaming anything. But they were so sure that I had no reason to have an opinion, almost, you know. So at that point, I felt that continuing being friends is supporting that view. So I did my best to try and explain, and I try, and for years, you know, these are people I've been connected for years. So, and this was not the first time, but maybe I had just less patience because of the recent events. But yeah, I just saw no reason. I think what Bill did, and that's why I emphasize it too, to say, I think, in my opinion, and such, if I have to go situating myself as a woman in conversations, I think guys who want to make a better world should do the same, because otherwise we keep on maintaining this vision that some people have the overpowering God view and some people don't. And I don't think anybody has God's view, you know, like omnipresent, or, you know, nobody. We all have our little view. So.
Yeah, so so these people spoke to you in a way as if they didn't think there was any chance or any reason for you to think the way you do, or to have an opinion. And these are people you've known for years. It's not it's just not just a short exchange, but you really made an effort to connect with them and talk to them. But they were not. They kind of saw themselves as if they were like gods with knowing everything, and that's not a way to, I mean, connect to what it's like for you or for other women to see and be humble about knowing or not knowing things, that they were so absolute, and you just thought,
I just think that everybody should position themselves in a conversation. And I am aware that in saying this, I'm positioning myself, saying everybody should do this, you know. But I see it as, you know, like at least people that want to help and want to see. And one of the posts that these people replied to was because I was asking my male friends to notice how some other men talk to women and try to situate themselves. Because if women are asked to situate themselves, then everybody should situate themselves, you know, if that makes sense. So,
let me, yeah, so we're past time, but I'm going to try to get this last piece, which is that you had created a post inviting your male friends to notice or talk about how other men talk to women or position themselves in relationship to women. And so because you were making that invitation, they were, but they weren't really answering your invitation. They were challenging what you were, how you were framing it.
felt threatened.
They felt threatened by what you said.
Yeah, because they were talking about other things. They would shift, and I was like, no, this is no, this is what I said. So I explained a few times, and then, well, so much. But I have to say, other friends did, so more friends supported than not. But anyway.
I'm going to just close this because just to respect the process that we have set up around time. But do you feel heard, or do you want to continue?
No, it's fine. I felt mostly heard.
Okay.
I mean, I want to say that I have to leave now. I'm feeling too much in my head at the moment. It's in the evening. I want to relax a little bit. It was nice to listen to you, and I would like to repeat this. It was interesting, but for now it was enough. Okay.
Okay, welcome.
Bye,
I hope
Nina.
to see you again, Nina. Take care. Get some rest.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.
I also have to leave soon. How long is this in general?
Well, let's see. It usually goes to about so it's about 2 hours, is with about 15 minutes, an hour and a half in these rooms, and then a 15-minute wrap up. So we have about another half an hour or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in this room, and then we go to that.
I'm just gonna turn off my camera because I'm gonna have my lunch. So you will.
Yeah, sure.
And,
Yeah, you can hear us. That's fine.
Okay.
Bill, I'll talk to you.
Okay, listening.
I'm feeling frustrated right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little frustrated at the shiftings that are taking place, of Nina leaving and of Julie not kind of leaving, but kind of half leaving, and I'm also even just again, I'm frustrated at the process, because I'm maybe I don't even know if I want to say.
Okay. So you're frustrated a bit with the situation, with people leaving, and then you're also frustrated with the process, but you don't know whether it's worth it to get into the weeds on that.
Right. I want to say that, so I participate in a number of different groups that use empathy, and I've just been exploring talking less. Not that I have less that I want to say, but just as an experiment to see how it changes the dynamics of my relationships with people.
So you're very interested and you're dedicated to exploring empathy and the study of empathy, and you're involved with several groups, and now you're using the tactic to speak less and to see how that affects your dynamics with other people.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that this structure allows me to affect things by speaking less, but not by speaking more. There's an invitation to not speak, but there's not an invitation to speak 2 or 3 times as long as other people. And I'm noticing that. I'm curious about that.
So you're looking at the time limit process in this process and seeing how essentially it kind of mitigates against people who are speaking, to dominate the conversation.
No, I wouldn't say dominate. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't. That would be
too far. So
yeah,
just speaking more in time, but not
yes,
dominate.
yeah, speaking more.
Mm-hmm.
Let's. Yeah. Yeah. I feel heard, and I'd like to end there.
Okay. So you feel heard. About just looking at the time limit and how that affects situations, and then as opposed to other models where people can speak longer or shorter.
Yes, thank you, Bill.
Okay, sure. All right, Sally, would you listen to me? Thank you, Sally. Okay. Well, I'm going to go on, and I'm going to talk to because I feel that I do want to create an empathic direct action, and I have very specific plans about it, and I want to continue a little bit for why an empathic if people from XR are listening as a whole, and people in this group as well, of course, why it's important to do an empathic direct action and explore strategies like this. And I'll stop there.
So you are basically you are committed and determined to move forward with empathic direct action, and hoping that, well, since it's recorded, other people are gonna listen, and that it's that XR as a whole is important. If I didn't miss something, but
And I want to make the case why this empathic direct action also supports civil disobedience actions. I'll just stop there. Can you reflect that, Sally?
I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. So with this case of empathic direct action and how it supports civil disobedience action.
Correct. And I want to talk about an analogy. So every day I walk my 2 dogs, and I have my poop bags, and so the neighbors, and I do the thing with having to lick my it's it's not the high point of my day, but I do it out of respect for my neighbors. So my neighbors know me, and they know I'm the guy who picks up, and there are other people too, but I'm the guy who picks up the poop. I'll stop there. Okay.
So every day you walk your two dogs, and you're the one that does carry the poop bags, and out of respect for your neighbors.
Right, and not the only one, but there are plenty of other people who have, there's evidence that they don't pick up after their dogs too. But there are other people who pick up after, no, I'm not the only one. So unfortunately, there was a tragedy, and right, a couple doors down, a young man was shot. And because of that, some people realized that there's an older lady next door who is now hospitalized, and her house was abandoned. So essentially, thieves started to ransack the house. I'll stop there.
Okay, so there was a tragedy where in your neighborhood where a young man was shot, and there was an older lady next door who was somehow it got abandoned, and then now it's being basically thieves are coming in and taking everything out of the her house.
Right, yeah, and to the point where the young man's grandmother was chasing these people down the street. Not a good idea. And I'll wrap up because my time is up. But the point I'm making is that when we tried to enlist the police were less than helpful. But because of the relationship I had established with my neighbors, I could talk to several of my neighbors, so that enough people called the police department, and we were able to contact the family, and we were able to take care of the situation. So I'll stop there, and I'm done.
Okay, so it was to such an extent that let's see, I guess it was the grandson of the grandmother.
Yeah, right.
Actually was chasing, well, there wasn't a lot of help from the police in the beginning, and he was chasing these people, these thieves, down the street away from his grandmother's house, but that it did result finally in the police taking a role.
Right, and the key was that I could talk to my neighbors because they knew I was the guy who picked up the poop. And so when I approached them, I had an opening to talk to them, and then we had a community action.
Okay. So the key was because you were a positive influence in the neighborhood, that you could actually talk civilly, and they could talk back to you civilly.
Right, they knew, yeah, they were well disposed to me. Thank you, Sally, I feel fully heard.
Okay. Okay, do you want me to go on, or?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Sal, you need to choose someone that you're speaking to.
okay, James, you.
Okay.
And again, James, I am appreciative of it was interesting, helpful. Yes, I too have been very stressed out. And so I have kind of switched modes and really get a lot out of I write music, and I also make jewelry, very just things that, you know, kind of are peaceful and calming and healthy things that keep my resources slow and inward. So I'm not focused externally. I have been doing some walks into the backcountry and going to an idyllic location and sitting down with the 3 dogs, and it's basically I'm surrounded by the cattle at the same time because they follow me. It is what it is.
Yeah. So you have a number of activities that you go to bring your energy inward, stay calm, conserve energy, things like making jewelry or just going out into the field and sitting outside with animals, cattle.
So, but it's kind of like I'm inside the center or the eye of the storm, and it could be a perfect storm with the upcoming election, the degradation of women's rights and civil rights of people, minorities, Blacks, Jews. It's gotten on my nerves, but as I said, I have done these things, and I guess I didn't mention the African drum circle. And it's group involvement.
So you're feeling concerned about what you described as a perfect storm of issues, the election, the degradation of women's rights, the degradation of civil rights, minorities, and how they're treated. And you also mentioned that you wanted to add drumming in a drum circle to the activities that help you focus your energy and stay calm and inwardly focused.
And so I live in a beautiful area, very calming. And I do want to do something to basically create change. That's what I'm interested with this whole process. You know, maybe it's empathic direct action, and you know, something a little bit more direct, and I kind of hoping to see some change between now and November 7th. And right away, actually.
You'd like to see some immediate change. You'd like, you said, to find something even more direct than empathic direct action.
Well, actually, it's since I don't really understand it, this is my maybe first or second meeting, and not the one thing I'm a little worried about. Okay, civil disobedience action versus moving forward with Martin Luther King's approach, Gandhi, you know, the original intent. So that's it.
Yeah, just to finish, you are thinking about empathic direct action and how it is, or it's similar or different from some of the original non-violent movements.
Okay, that's fine. It's yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Julie, are you still around would you be able to listen to me? Just give you a second if you're there.
You're muted, Julie, if you don't. Okay.
Okay, maybe Julie's not around. So I'll speak to you, Bill.
Okay, listening.
Sorry.
I
Oh,
I just couldn't find the button.
Oh,
okay. Great.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. So, Julie, I'm speaking to you. Empathic direct action. I love the idea. I would love to participate. I would love to help build such an action. I think that well, it's not it's not clear to me what some of the people who are talking about who let's say what Edwin and Bill, it's not clear to me what they want to do. And I know some things. I know that they're based in the Bay Area, California, and they want to do some direct action there. And I am not entirely clear whether these calls are for helping to organize that or helping to create nonviolent direct actions in many places. And so I think about my own situation, for example, in a city, in Syracuse. I would love for there to be nonviolent direct actions here. To me, it seems like there are so many steps to making that happen that I feel a little bit like, it feels a little bit like pie in the sky dreaming. And I have no problem with having visioning sessions, like what do we really want? And I see part of what we're doing as being that, but I'm also, I think I just want to inject some like realism or practicalism into the conversation. You know, we have a theme. I'm acknowledging that I've been talking in a way outside of that theme, and I want to say that that's the reason I've been talking outside that theme, is because the actual direct actions for me locally helping to create one feels too far away.
So you are listening to everybody and all the things that have been said here, and you feel very interested on this kind of course of debate or conversation, if you wish, but it feels very much up there, and you're feeling you want to do something. But are like, it feels like all this talk is so vague, you know, it seems very vague to you. and you're wondering, for one side, you're wondering how is that going to help you do something where you are, and on the other hand, you're wondering, you know, what it is about. You know, you wish there was some kind of a structure, but so you're very open to acknowledging everybody's ideas, but are wondering what they can do, or what you can do to help this move, you know, and kind of concretize, if that's a word, sorry.
I understand. Concretize. I'll take that. There's no XR in Syracuse. The activists fight against each other. They don't talk to each other about, they fight about certain things all the time. I can't even get invited to meetings. When I find out about something and I go, I feel really disconnected from the people there. There's no infrastructure. There's no basis, a foundation of organization to get something like this moving. And so I am personally, maybe, you know, I'm just trying to see how can I fit myself into whatever is around me to get even just a little bit of it going. And I've done that. I mean, I've been to some things in the past 2 weeks, and it felt really hopeless.
So you kind of you have done some attempts to insert yourself in the action, but you haven't reached a level to feel comfortable, and you feel very alien when joining these groups because you don't see a direction, and it doesn't seem like you see a community either, or a community that you are part of. But you feel very passionate about it.
Yeah, exactly. You got me perfectly, Julie. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So at some point, Edwin may be pulling us back into the main room. I think we have time for another round or two. But just to let you know, you might see something that will say you'll go back into the one room probably in about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. So Julie, who would you like to speak
to? Sally? Doesn't need to be like a different topic. I think so many things.
It can be whatever you want. It could be on topic or whatever is really working you at the moment.
Okay. So one thing that worries me right now is the sense of confidence, like you, Sally, about the coronavirus. You know, the feeling that is happening elsewhere, and we are somehow safe wherever we are. And you know, the thing that worries me, if I can explain it in a more detailed manner, is this overconfidence and this notion that reality is outside of my body. And now with this virus, we're seeing that reality can be inside our bodies and make us very sick very quickly. And I feel that there's a lot of information that is not getting to the people that surround me in my community because of this feeling almost as if things were on TV and not here. You know, there's like such a strong disconnect, and that, you know, that root of overconfidence. You know, if I'm okay right now, I will be okay forever. You know, like, well, no. So I'm worried about that.
Okay. see, you have a lot of worries of this sense of confidence we have that we're safe here. And it's an overconfidence in something that where the reality is not what we think, or in that we could get sick very quickly. That info is not getting to the community. And this sort of I'm okay now and forever, rather than maybe we feel okay outside, but what if it just gets in our body and we're not okay?
Yeah, and I feel that some of it has to do with our communities not really understanding numbers and what numbers mean. Like even friends in other countries, they feel safe because there's only 10 people sick in their country. And even here, where I live, they say, oh, but it's only X number of people. It's not that many. And so it's not getting like I feel like we, as humans, we try to cling to the most, to the best prediction, and I am trying to think how to help explain at least the people that live near me that it's not about the numbers, it's about how fast the spread is. That is the problem, and that as it spreads fast and it takes communities by storm, it swamps hospitals, just like it happened in Italy. And then when hospitals are swamped, that not only means that not enough people will get treatment for the virus, but that people for any illness will not get treatment. So one thing is how yes, this will kill the vulnerable elderly population, but I think there's so much to explain, and I'm trying to figure out ways to explain it in ways that is not gonna make people shut themselves to reality even more, but take responsibility. I think this is what we should do, because I mean, we're all gonna die. That's not gonna, like, we're not discussing that we live forever, but that's what worries me right now, that we can do something.
Okay, so I get it that you feel out of control, that people are kind of floating along and not understanding how quickly this virus, it's like, oh, 4 people in this country, whatever, that it can just go boom and take over in pandemic form, which they're saying on TV, that actually people don't even know what that word is, obviously. But so you've been trying to explain this to people, and it's I don't know if you feel like you're making progress, but just you're worried about the hospitals becoming swamped, and that it's gonna impact the vulnerable elderly, and well, everyone that's vulnerable
Yeah.
to it.
Everybody
Okay.
knows that the hospitals get full, basically. You know, if you have an accident and you go to a hospital and it's full of people with the virus.
Right, right.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I feel heard.
Thank you.
Good. Thanks.
Okay, are we gonna move on to me?
Yeah,
Can I respond to Julie until we get to the point?
sounds good. Who would you like to
Okay,
speak to?
I'll just talk to Julie.
Okay.
And so I just wanna say, honestly, I don't know, maybe I just take it to the next level of concern than the rest of the world about it. But you know, the shelves are all being emptied by people that are planning, you know, to kind of wait it out here. I've heard, and we're thinking about it. Obviously, I don't necessarily think that it's even innocent, and I don't want to go into any further about that. But anyway, maybe it is the pangolin or whatever it is, or maybe it's not.
Should I reply? So you, where you are, things are kind of shut down and people are doing their best to stay away from each other. And you see that happening where you are, but you have some suspicions that this is not a coincidence or something unexpected, but you don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, they suspect that it's this animal that I guess gets sold in markets called I think it was a pangolin.
That's correct.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. I think I just feel that it's not being managed appropriately, and needs a better approach.
Yeah.
And there won't be.
We're being
enough.
called in, so I
Right.
just wanted to say
Yeah.
thank you to everyone, and it was
Okay.
nice meeting you, Julie.
Same James, same Sally, same Bill.
Sure.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Appreciate
Okay.
everything you said.
Yes.
All right. See you in the main session.
See you in the main session.
I stopped recording because you disappeared, so I didn't
Oh, I see.
happen. Yeah.
Oh, great.